I'm Jared Wareham, and I'd like to welcome you to this episode of the Cattle Call. Today, I'm still down here in South Central Missouri, down here at Barn Hauler Vet Clinic with Dr. Michael Orchard. So, Dr. Orchard, one thing we want to talk to you about, or talk to you guys about today, and you guys thought this would be, kind of a topic that's, like you said, maybe not as well known at the producer level, but it's something we kind of always entrust to our veterinary practitioners to kind of know this stuff and help us with. But it's the relationship between in your immune system and how important that the relationship that exists between dewormers and vaccination programs and how those two work together, and there's some important components to that, isn't that right?
Absolutely, and I think everybody is aware that we're going to see an increase in production with both dewormers and vaccines in our program. We're going to see increase in weaning weights, we're going to see increases in conception rates, and those are all very important things. But Dr. Folk with Boehringer Ingelheim is going to show us a little bit more in depth, maybe about what the interaction between deworming and our vaccination program creating immunity might be.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of people kind of take for granted their vaccine protocols, and we don't want to just vaccinate, we want to immunize. Well, to get the most out of your vaccines, we need a fully functioning immune system. Well, a lot of people don't realize parasites come into play there. So deworming is an integral part of our vaccination program, and this is what's happening in the immune system. There's actually two big parts of our immune system. It's called a Th1, Th2. That's as fancy as we're going to get. And they're usually in a balance. They're teetering back and forth. Well, what it is this is the part of the immune system that fights bacteria and viruses, but this is also the part of the immune system that responds to vaccines. Well, this part of the immune system is what responds to parasites. So if we get a large worm burden and it really starts firing up this part of the immune system, well, guess what happens? This whole thing goes out of balance on us, and now we're like this. So our Th2 is up here fighting all the parasites, but guess what? It actually shuts down our Th1, which means now we can't even respond to the vaccines. This is also why wormy cattle tend to get sick much easier. They don't have the part of the immune system to fight those infections off. Well, guess what? If your animals have a lot of worms, they can't respond to their vaccines right either. So your deworming program has to be an integral part of your vaccination program if you want to get the most out of your programs.
So it's very symbiotic, to get everything, like you said, to get the vaccination program to be able to immunize your cattle, you have to have the deworming component being effective and doing its job, so this can do its job. So I guess we call that a symbiotic relationship.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts you have, Doc, on maybe some recommendations, or if guys have questions about this, or what they can kind of contact you about?
Yeah, I mean, it's important that we look at each individual operation, because it would be nice to blanket and say this is going to work everywhere. So either call me or talk to your own veterinarian and get a plan set up so that you can maximize this relationship and improve your production.
Absolutely, and we don't want to run these cattle through the chute anymore than we have to. So come up with a plan, and when they're coming through the chute, you might as well hit it with your dewormer and your other shots all at the same time, and then have a plan as far as what types of wormers. I guess from that standpoint, what kind of wormer would you use in the spring as far as a recommendation? We're coming up on times when guys are going to be turning grass cattle out versus the fall. In the fall, maybe you'd want to have a little different, perhaps a drench in the fall and a topical, and maybe long range in the spring. Or
absolutely.
That's you guys think.
And I prefer long range in the spring, mainly because you have such a long time of a growth season with the grass coming on, and then that ties in with the length of duration with long range. You're going to maximize the effectiveness of the dewormer and decrease your parasite load in your pastures.
Especially in fly season.
Absolutely.
We know how effective long range has been on fly control. I mean, at least it has been in my herd. I've been using it for a long time now, and I would say that the reduction in flies is significant and substantial for me to notice it. So it would make sense that spring and summer would be your time of year for that. So,
absolutely.
And maybe followed up in the fall with a drench, internal drench.
Absolutely, and I tend to use Synanthic and Epernex in the fall. Helps with lice control, as well as you're kind of getting a rotation in your deworming, adding the drench in there.
Awesome. Any final thoughts on the immune balance?
No, again, the biggest question I would probably get though is how far before vaccinating do I need to do this deworming?
Okay.
Well, in an ideal world, okay, yes, you could argue if you can deworm before vaccinating is great, but we do know deworming at the time of vaccinating, you still will get the benefits. It'll knock down your parasite populations fast enough, your vaccines will get a better response.
Outstanding. Well, hope this was educational for you guys today. If you're down in the Mountain View area and you have any questions, why don't you give Doc a holler. Catch you guys down the road.